Twitch, Artemu, the Violet Wizard here, and today we are continuing Pokémon Emerald. Last time we were able to quell the rampaging Groudon and Kyogre with the power of the Emerald Dragon, Rayquaza, and managed to earn our 8th and final badge. So we are very close to finishing up our adventure in the Hoenn region. Well, at least the main story of things. So right now I want to focus on getting done pretty much everything we are able to do in the Hoenn region before making our way to the final challenge, which is the Pokémon League. Oh, what do we got here? Okay. So of course, because we recently cleared a gym, it seems only fitting that we go take on the Trickmaster once more. So where is he hiding this time? There you are. Huh? How'd you know I conceal myself in this cupboard? You're sharp. So to just go into some things that we still have yet to do, there's an area to the west of Pacific Town we need to go to, and a few other places that we need to revisit in order to get some pretty interesting stuff there. And then I have to go about this. I want to move this one. So yeah, this area is interesting. We got like a retread of the Fortree City Gym. Got a glitter mail there, not something I really need. I believe that is the path that leads back to the scroll, so we don't need that. Let's see what you got for us. When I heard there was a strange house, I had to check it out. It's usually not a good idea, miss. You never know what kind of creepos could be in this place. Oh, but you're a Pokemon Ranger, so you're probably here to actually check it out and make sure it's safe and not sketchy or something. Okay, I can live with that. So yeah, things on the team haven't really changed since last time, and I still haven't tried to get this one thing that we need for something we'll eventually be doing in this adventure. But I will be planning on getting that done very soon, because we are very close to the end game, and I want to make sure I have the final things we need in order to basically go over some special things that we will be encountering on this adventure. Because there is still a lot to the Hoenn region that we have not seen at this point, and it's definitely going to be interesting when we finally get to it. It's got a much needed level up on Jerk there, so let's... You can go in the lead there. But yeah, unfortunately, I have not been playing Emerald for quite some time, as you can imagine. I've just been so exhausted with work lately. It has been crazy how much I've been working lately, and I just haven't really had much motivation to stream for quite a while. Hello there, Sebastian. You got the funny Jamaican accent. Sorry, that was terrible. This Cacturne here shouldn't be too much trouble for Shanty. But yeah, besides work, which has been very tiring the last couple of weeks, I've also been mainly distracted with some other things lately, namely a game I've just been investing so much time into. I know I talked about this on previous streams, but I frickin' love Xenoblade Chronicles so much. It's such a great game. So happy that it got its Switch re-release, because it's just been so fun getting to revisit this game again. It's easily one of my favorites, and just... yeah, I'm making excellent progress in that game now. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Making very good progress, as can be seen with some of my posts on Twitter. And yeah, I'm just about getting into the final stuff I have to do in the game, which is very exciting. Definitely a lot of things happen in the second half of the game. There's just so much that you do, and just a lot of plot development and character-driven stuff that goes on, and it just really makes the game come alive in a big way. I mean, just the whole game is fantastic, but the stuff in the second half is just so intense. Really makes the long adventure worth it. To put things into perspective, I believe I've been playing over 80 hours of Xenoblade in my current run, and yeah, it's a lot of time invested in there. And I don't regret it for a second. It's just a fantastic game. Hello there, Zoptu. Yeah, things here aren't too challenging. I think this is actually the Trickmaster challenge we could have done after dealing with Tate and Liza, I think. Yes, you did blow it, dude. I mean, you're a bird Pokemon user, so kinda comes with the territory. Trickmaster is my life. Well, I wouldn't exactly call him that. Oh no, that was a fine puzzle. Took me all night to install the doors. You're almost my equal in greatness. Fine, you've earned this reward. So we get a magnet. Scrub that smug smirk from your face. Just we have been scrubbing other things off, if you know what I'm saying. No, not even gonna go into there. So the magnet is a good item if you're using an electric type, or have a Pokemon with electric type moves, because it will boost the power of those attacks. I'm gonna give that to Alexa, giving her a very handy move to boost the power of her already fantastic moves. And we are pretty much good here at the Trick House, I believe. There could be one more challenge we have to deal with. It's been a while since the last time I played Emerald, so there's a lot of things I've been blanking out on recently. Yeah, we got one more challenge to do here. There you are, in the window. How'd you know I could conceal myself behind this window? You're sharp. Oh no, I'm feeling kind of flat. It's a little music humor. Alright, so this will probably be the last challenge before we... Well, this is the last Trickmaster related challenge we're gonna do before the League. The Trickmaster always vanishes like smoke. How does he do it? Going around the same spot, it begets ill fortune. Have you people never heard of smoke bombs? But yeah, this area is a refresher on the Moss Deep Gym, which is pretty fine. I do really like this whole aesthetic they got going on here, and I believe much like the Moss Deep Gym itself, the layout of this area is different depending on which version of the game you're playing. So in Ruby and Sapphire, it is a completely different layout from what we have here in Emerald. But yeah, that just kind of goes with how things were in those games. It is interesting how much they changed the Moss Deep Gym between the different games. Like, every version of it is unique, which I think is really cool. Alright, that Kadabra goes down. Lunatone is almost out. Luckily, Beetlejuice will be able to handle this thing. Little bit of payback for what happened back in the Moss Deep Gym. Poor Beetlejuice, I was really pulling for him to get to deal a lot of damage to the gym leaders, and just got taken out so quickly. Then again, that's just what happens in that gym. It's a very tough challenge. In Emerald, at least. You have a much easier time in Ruby and Sapphire, and in the remakes. Dealt with these two. Hey! you're much too strong. How do you do it? Defeated. It's a bad sign. I've circled the same spot over 10 times now. It's ill fortune. I wish I could appear and disappear as if I were smoke too. Good luck with that, buddy. At the very least, if we're going to be facing mainly psychic types here, it's a good place for Beetlejuice and Harlequin to get some action. Of course, we also got teleporting panels. Nice. So I want to move this one so that we have the path to the scroll clear. And let's see here. Right, so this one, we want to move you. So we can at least get a double battle against these two. That gets us here. Alright, let's take out these two. Whoever wins will get through here first. That's the feeling I get. I ever so closely watch you coming. Yeah, thank you. Alright, Alexis and Alvaro. So, while we're going through here, what's some stuff to talk about? Well, recently on Netflix, I have been, of course, watching a lot of BoJack Horseman, as usual, because, man, is the show amazing. So, I'm currently about halfway through season 4, I believe. Oh boy, things are definitely interesting there. Definitely a lot of interesting things have happened. I mean, the season starts off on a really funny note, just with Mr. Peanut Butter running for governor, and he's going up against a character voiced by the guy who plays Raymond Holt on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and just freaking love their dynamic, and there's a lot of funny commentary and stuff throughout that whole episode. It's a great start to the season, just having it focus on Mr. Peanut Butter, kind of having a break from all the BoJack stuff. But man, they really... What am I trying to say here? Of course, as you would expect, a lot of the things that do focus on BoJack this season are really, really grim. And just with him meeting his mother again, and she's fallen into dementia, and yet he's still treating her horribly, even though she doesn't even recognize him anymore because of the way that she treated him in the past. How he's connecting with his estranged daughter, and oh boy, just a very interesting scenario they got there for BoJack. I'm very interested to see what they do with him at the end of this season, because things aren't gonna end well. They never do for our old BJ. But in lighter news, I discovered that Close Enough is on Netflix, and that has been a good time. So if you don't know, Close Enough is the show created by the guy behind Regular Show, which is just a fantastic show, one of my faves from recent years, explicitly talking about Regular Show. So I've only seen a little bit of Close Enough on YouTube, but from what I've seen, it's been good stuff. And just getting to revisit this show again has been really cool. Like, it still has all the zaniness that you would expect from Quintel's style, just some very fun characters. I'm enjoying getting to visit this show. Very good. Ooh, Chimecho. So, I'm pretty sure we have not encountered this Pokemon up to this point in this adventure. So just in case we might have accidentally encountered this thing before, but I'm just completely blanking on it. So Chimecho, this is a Psychic-type Pokemon, and it's the very rare Pokemon that you could only find on the top floor of Mount Pyre. And as you can see there, I just took that thing out way faster well, we took it out so that there was basically nothing it could do to actually show its strengths. Not like there's too many, because it is a single form psychic type, it doesn't get an evolution, and it is just kind of there in this game. Despite being a very rare and hard Pokemon to find, it's really not that great compared to other psychic type Pokemon in this adventure that are much more easily accessible. Yeah, its stats are just kind of and its moveset's really not the best this gen. It does get some interesting support moves, but yeah, it's just really not the best psychic type in this adventure. If you're looking for one, I highly recommend getting either Abra or Ralts, because they become excellent psychic type Pokemon, but it's just very, very hard to recommend Chimecho. An interesting bit of trivia about this Pokemon. Just gotta move these two out of the way. There we go. Interesting little bit of trivia about Chimecho that is interesting is that it's a Pokemon that is actually I'm somewhat attached to, not just because the anime had a really sad episode involving a Chimecho, but because in Pokemon Y I actually ran into a shiny version of its pre-evolution, Chingling, and getting to use it was pretty cool. I actually used it for a while on my team, and it was alright. But just the novelty of getting a shiny Pokemon, using it on your team, it's really good. But anyway, for beating that challenge, we're now the Trick Masters equaling greatness, and we get a PP Max. An item that is just very limited. I've forgotten if we actually ran into these in this adventure. By this point, we probably have. But that will give any move you use it on its maximum power point values. So definitely save that for the very hard to come by and just very powerful moves that have very low power points, and you're good. For that is the last Trick Master challenge we're gonna do for quite a while. He still has one more challenge to do. But we're not going to be able to do that until part of our journey here in this region is over. So now that we got that taken care of, so before we finish up exploring the ocean over here, I want to head back to Fallerba Town, so we can get some use out of our brand new HM that we got from beating Juan. Hey there, Endive. I have need for you again. Considering what we got going on in there, why not? We can give Shanty a break. She's been pulling a lot of weight in this adventure, and I feel now's a good time just to give her a little break. It's gonna teach water. Alright, I guess I already taught that to you. Do you know Surf, just in case? Alright, you need to be taught Surf. Yeah, the water HMs are interesting because pretty much all the what I'm trying to say here is that Waterfall and Dive are dependent on you also having Surf on one of your Pokemon. So it's just kind of an interesting scenario where you need to basically stack multiple hidden machines onto a single Pokemon, or multiple Pokemon on your team, in order to get any use out of them, and yeah, it's very awkward. I'm glad that they did away with HMs in the future games. But with this move, we are now able to climb up waterfalls. There is a few of these in this adventure that we're able to see, which is very good for us. And typically when you're dealing with waterfalls, they usually stash some very good items behind them. So It's definitely good to make the most out of this HM and explore any place where you have seen a waterfall. There aren't too many waterfall locations in this region, though it's only in a few areas, so we're not going to be really worried about them too much. Yeah, why not? Endive can be in the lead. It's not like we're dealing with anything really strong right now. But yeah, but going up here, you get a rare candy, which is always good. Before we go any farther, I believe I want to store some of my items away, because we did pick up a few things. I don't want to check the mailbox, damn it. Put away rare candy, PB Max, put away the mail. Where did I get those heart scales from? And we got a pearl to sell. Okay. That is also good. Alright, take care of that very well. Now we're taking care of the waterfall back here. I want to head over this way back into Meteor Falls. It's been quite a while since we've last been here. The Pokemon around here definitely haven't improved too much. It's kind of a thing with the Pokemon series is that revisiting certain areas isn't usually all that great because the Pokemon don't really gain levels in the time between as you make progress through the game, and so there's just not a whole lot of good incentive for going after these Pokemon despite besides filling the Pokedex, I mean. Yeah, they don't really get much experience at this point, so it's really not worth fighting them. One thing I will say is that they do somewhat mitigate that in Sword and Shield in an interesting way with the wild area, which I think is very cool. But yeah, here we are finally able to climb the waterfall in Meteor Falls. And there's quite a bit for us to see here. Alright, at this point what I want to do is switch Endive out of the front, because we actually got some intense battles here. Well, they're not going to be too bad. But this is an area that we have to get all the gym badges just in order to access, so you can expect at least some form of resistance here. Yeah, we pretty much got a whole new section of this cave that we couldn't explore before. And in contrast to what I was saying earlier, this section of Meteor Falls actually has higher level Pokemon. So if you're looking to get yourself a Solrock or a Lunatone, this is a good point to pick one up. You're also able to get Golbat here. But you have plenty of opportunities to pick up Zubat and Golbat before here, so it's not really too bad. And not really just a major thing you need to go for at this point. There is one other thing I definitely want to talk about here, and we'll get into that once we get into a certain area in here. This area is also important for something much later on in this adventure, and it's definitely going to be interesting to get to challenge, because it's something that I've only done a few times in this game. Let's take out this Golbat here. So in terms of other stuff that's been going on, So I've been working a lot of my art in between periods of work and streaming. Get up here to get TM23 Irontail. It's very nice if you don't have a Pokemon that can actually learn that. Just want to check the crater here to make sure there isn't anything here. I don't need to fight you. You don't give good experience. Yeah, this is definitely a good TM to pick up. Not a whole lot of Pokemon learn Steel-type attacks, but Irontail is very much worth it because of the power behind it. Man, Alexa can learn it. I might consider that on her moveset. I don't really see too many battles where that would actually come in handy, but it will be interesting giving her just a very powerful move. Also, I think in the higher levels, you have a much higher chance of running into Solrock and Lunatone here, which is pretty nice, all things considered. Hey, buddy, could you not do that? Thank you. No, I said stop it. Armstrong, your luck is starting to fade here. Whatever, he was able to tank the hits very well because of his typing and just great defense in general. With that, we got some fights here. We've always battled Pokemon together as a twosome. We've confidence in ourselves. We got a unique little duo here. Old couple John and Jay. I sell both a Medicham and a Hariyama. Definitely want to switch Armstrong out here. He's not going to be good here. Luckily, we got the Ghost with the most, who will be able to take these guys up very nicely. I don't want to see that on Hariyama. That could be bad. And Medicham's using Protect, which will absorb the Flamethrower. That's just great. Alright, luckily Hariyama targeted Beetlejuice with that. So yeah, that guy has Focus Punch, which, as I've said previously, is quite the interesting move. It deals a lot of damage, but you can only use it if your Pokemon has not taken direct damage on that turn. So if your Pokemon takes direct damage, the move will fail. And Medicham's here part Psychic, so that's going to deal some big damage to Jerk. Alright, Beetle should take care of Hariyama here, and Jerk can finish you with Slash. This should be it for this fight. So yeah, pretty standard double battle here, but they're two very formidable Pokemon, so they could give you quite a bit of trouble if you don't have the right Pokemon to deal with them. Oh my, we've lost dear wife. Young trainer, get the chance to rise when you battle with us again. And we got another set of trainers that we can rematch. They are kind of out of the way, so I wouldn't recommend going to challenge them too often. But still a nice little bonus here if you're looking for some good experience. Especially if you got the Pokemon to handle them. As I demonstrated, Bayonet was really good there. And we got another fight here that is quite interesting. If we can just take out the Solrock here. Alright, good work, Armstrong. This is where we dragon users do our training. The champion even visits. Now, do you see how special it is here? Scottish sells a fairly unique trainer class here. Dragon Tamers. As the name implies, they specifically use Dragon-type Pokemon. more Pokemon that look kind of dragon-like. Yeah, Watcher, it has been a while. Just been distracted with quite a few other things. So yeah, Dragon Tamers are an interesting trainer class because they only appear in a few games. I want to say they only appear in Generation 3 and 4. So yeah, it's a rarely seen trainer class, but a fairly interesting one all the same because of their specialty in the Dragon type, which just overall is a very cool type, even if they've been kind of nerfed in more recent games. You know, because of fairies. Yeah, this guy wasn't too bad. He has some Altaria, but they really weren't that terrifying. Ugh, didn't expect you to be so strong. I want to know more about your power. Let me register you in my Pokénav. And of course, Nicholas is also a trainer we can rematch. Again, you got two people who are kind of out of the way that can give you rematches. So, I'd recommend waiting until both of these trainers want to rematch you before going to battle them. But if you do that, you can get yourself some good rewards for that. At this part, you want to be very careful. So you want to take the correct path here, which I think, yeah, I'm gonna go over this way to these set of steps, which leads out into this section here. Back in that one area on the upper level. If we could just take out this guy here. I could really... At this point, Double Kick is really not doing too much for Jerk, so I have been considering getting rid of it for Brick Break, but there is another attack that Jerk is very close to learning that I want to hold off for, because that move can be really good for him. Across the water here. So let's look over here if there's anything. Go over this way, we can pick up a P-P-Up. Very nice to have. Is there any attacks I want to use that on? Okay, let's use that to top off Giga Drain. So just to go into Giga Drain again, this move does get boosted in future generations, so you don't have to worry about it only having 5 power points in other games. It's mainly only in Gen 3 where it's kind of this sucky, but it does get better in later games. Alright, cool, Watcher. Hello there, Golbat. Go over here, there's one final section of Meteor Falls that we have not explored yet. Well, there is one other area, but that's not for much later. Here we pick up TM02 Dragon Claw. This is one of the best dragon type attacks in the game. Go over here, this thing has 80 base power. It doesn't have any added effects, but it's just a very strong attack. And despite being Dragon type, a lot of Pokemon are actually able to learn this, like Armstrong here. One Pokemon I would definitely recommend giving it to, if you started with Trico, its final form Sceptile is able to use Dragon Claw, and it can really make good use out of it, especially in this game. Because despite sounding like a physical attack, it uses the special stats. So yeah, that's a very good coverage move that quite a few Pokemon are able to learn. But Armstrong here isn't really special focus, so he's not going to get much action from that. Just kind of considering things here. think we'll be set for some things going forward. Before we leave, there is one other thing we're able to get in this room. So I'm probably gonna be here for a little while just to see if we're able to run into this thing, because it is a little rare here. You're definitely gonna be encountering a lot of Golbat and Soul Rock before you're able to encounter this thing. But I highly recommend going for it, because it's a nice reward. If you have the patience for it. Okay, buddy, could you not do that? So, what's some stuff to go over while we're just kind of going through here? Well, as said earlier, I have been, of course, working on my art a bit more. Both traditional and digital, obviously. Funnily enough, one of the things I posted recently on Twitter has really been blowing up. But then again, it is kind of Proton John and Lucagen related, so yeah, obviously it would draw a crowd, and I'm very grateful to it. Like, just a funny little thing I cooked up in a couple minutes, and just glad people are really appreciating it. This really makes me feel good about being an artist and all that. Oh, we ran into this thing very quickly, actually. This is Bagon. If you remember Dratini from Leaf Green, this thing is basically the Dratini of this game. Who do I want to go for here? Because I actually want to attempt to catch this thing. What do we got in terms of moves here? Actually, that might work when you're a bit strong. Rock Tomb to stab. Actually, might go for Endive here. So yeah, Bagon is pretty much the Dratini of the third generation. There is one other, but Bagon is the main one you're able to encounter in the main story. This thing is a pure dragon type, and will eventually become a dragon flying type. This thing is very powerful when you're able to get it fully evolved. Right now, it's just kind of on the weak side, but trust me, you'll definitely want this thing. Sure, let's go for the Nest Ball here. When it's fully evolved, this thing has very good stats. Especially in terms of its offensive stats, because its attack and special attack are great, its speed is great, its defense are a little on the lower side, but are still pretty good, and this thing is just such a beast. It learns a lot of great attacks. So not only does it get very good use out of its Dragon and Flying Stab, but it can also learn moves from other types, like Rock and Steel, and Ground, and also Fire. It just learns a lot of good moves that make use out of its stats and its power very nicely. It's just a very good Pokemon all around. You do have to wait to get this thing because it is only available after getting the final badge, but it's definitely worth it if you are able to invest the time into training it up. It's a fantastic Pokemon and one I definitely recommend, especially in the post-game content. Also, fun thing about Bagon is that I was actually able to get a shiny one in Pokemon Go. Yeah, they had an event for it, so obviously you would get the shiny for it then, but it was pretty nice getting that. Come on, buddy. Need you to get in the ball. Well, I don't need this thing, it's just I want it for the novelty of it. It's a very rare Pokemon, and I definitely want it. There we go. Now, the thing I want to say about Bagon is that it has some very cute lore behind it. Bagon, the Rockhead Pokemon. Although it is small, this Pokemon's very powerful because its body's a bundle of muscles. It launches headbutts from its iron-like skull. So, remember how I said that Bagon evolves into a flying type? So, Bagon's dream is to be able to fly, but in its base form, it can't. So it attempts to fly by hurling itself off of cliffs, and it uses its rock-hard skull in order to survive the impact. Yeah, Pokemon is weird sometimes. Your name will be Quarterback. But yeah, I really like Bagon in terms of a Dragon-type Pokemon. Not only is it powerful, but it's got some fun lore behind it. Of course, nothing will beat Dratini in terms of cuteness, but Bagon itself is a kind of cute design. Little derpy, but I like it. That we pretty much done everything we're able to do in Meteor Falls. For the time being, we will be returning here once more for something very special. And of course I don't have my escape routes right now. Why do I always not have them? At least the way out of here is relatively easy. Okay guys, could you not? Zubat, it's very nice to see you because you're actually one of my favorite Pokemon, but don't want to see you right now. Don't even give enough good experience to warrant fighting them. Oh yeah, I put my flying Pokemon away. This is fine. I need the steps in order to level up something in the daycare, so this is fine. I need this. Alright. Thank you, and dive. Let's put Shanty back in the party, just so that we can make use of her flying abilities to go to a place that we haven't been to for a little while. Not as long as Meteor Falls, but it's been a while since we've been here still. Fortree City. And dive. Welcome back to the team. Sorry, Shanty, your break's gonna be a little longer. At least you're able to play with our new baby dragon. One thing I will say again about Bagon is that I managed to catch mine at level 30, and it evolves at level 30. Sure, it's still gonna be a while before it reaches its final form, but getting its first evolution very quickly is definitely a plus. So there was stuff over here on Route 119 that we are now able to get because of our new HM. Before we do this though, I just want to quickly check if we have the right tools for this. Okay, good, we have the Aqua Bike. I will want to switch that out for the Mach Bike very soon, but we're going to need the Aqua Bike for something ahead. So by going up this waterfall here, we're now able to access this area behind the Weather Institute. We can pick up these two Hondu berries, named after Honeydew, which, I do not like melons. I'm sorry, I just cannot stand melons. Just the way they taste and the texture to them, it's not a fruit I really like. And kind of going back into BoJack Horseman, I'm very happy that BoJack shares my sentiments about Honeydew and Cantaloupe. I just can't stand them. So over here, we're able to pick up a nugget, which can be sold for some money. Over here, there's that dead end over there, but go over here to get a spot where you can build some secret bases. That's nice, at least. Is there anything hidden over here? No? We'll hop across over here. There's some more secret bases you can get here. And you also get a rare candy. So very nice. We got a lot of good leveling up items here. And this area is kind of brief, but you still get some good stuff. Right. Let's go fetch our Pelipper again, and then we're gonna fly over to Pacific Log Town in order to finally see what we're able to get on the western side. What do we got here? Come on. Come on, don't crap out on me now. Come on, buddy. Don't do this to me right now. Had some very good days where I was able to actually get the mid rate very good. Oh man, what do we got here? On. Get stable again. Ah, jeez, come on. Why you gotta be like this right now? Come on, I have one other area to cover before I want to end things tonight, and you just get stable. Please. don't let me have anything right now. Come on. Right? Can we... It looks like things are stabilizing. Okay, it looks like things are stable now. Future Hayden, if you eventually put this on YouTube, please cut that gap out. Alright, it looks like we're stable again. Alright. So that does it with Route 119. We're not going to need to come back here for quite a while now. So next destination tonight is going to be Pacific Log Town. There's no reason I really want to talk to anybody in town right now. I mean, there is the one guy who's going to be like, I can't see Mirage Island right now. You know, I might as well talk to him just to see, like, the one chance I might actually be able to see this thing with my own eyes. But, like, I do not know what caused this one thing to happen. It's, like, so freaking rare that you're more likely to encounter like a million shiny legendaries in this game than get this one thing to appear. Nope, can't see it. Great. So I just want to say before going on ahead, highly recommend having a Pokemon that knows Fly before exploring this section of the sea. You'll see why very soon. So over here on Route 132, we have some strong currents that are going to pull us along here. And there's just some sections of the ocean that you're only able to get to by following the specific currents. So yeah, this area is interesting to say the least. I wouldn't call it my favorite area of these oceans, but at least they're doing something new with the whole ocean areas that doesn't involve just like going around the water. You have a specific gimmick in this area that makes it interesting. Used to catch colds all the time as a kid. I became totally fit after I started swimming. Wouldn't being fit make it easier to catch colds, because then you could catch up to them? I don't know what I'm saying. So Gilbert here's got Sharpedo. We definitely could have come here much earlier on in the adventure, but I wanted to say this for a little bit later, just because there's really no plot reason to come to this area. Well, this area does tie into something we'll eventually be doing, but we don't have the means to do that just yet. I crave more power! We all do, buddy. Trainers travel the fields and mountains. They must be fit, too. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't feel fit. Alright, Shanty could definitely be in the front here. So yeah, this area is definitely interesting to navigate. It can get pretty easy to get lost here, so you need to be very... you need to memorize what sections of the current you've actually passed through and kind of pick your route through here accordingly in order to get through here, because you're not going to be able to grab everything here on your first go. It's going to take several attempts to actually get through here. But we should be able to wrap up this area in less than half an hour, I'd say. And of course we do have a lot of battles here. There's a lot of trainers on this route, especially if you're playing Emerald. So just a warning on that. As we're going through here though, what's some other things to talk about? So talk about what I've seen on Netflix. I talked about my art, or at least the stuff I'm willing to be public about, because, And I've been experimenting with some stuff lately. Actually, let's register the item finder there. It's been an interesting year for me getting experimental with some of my art projects. Especially with certain content, but that's a discussion for another time. Or not at all. Hello there. Welcome! I've been expecting you. So Linda here's got a horsey. Well, I guess something that can connect to something I've been previously talking about. So, of course, I am subscribed to Chugga Conroy over on YouTube, and he's been doing a series based on Xenoblade 8 Chronicles 2 on his channel, and of course I've been following it because I didn't actually pick up the game when it first came out, and I've just been kind of kicking myself over it because from what I've seen of his playthrough, it is just such a good game, and yeah, I just kind of regret not picking up sooner. But oh man, the things that have happened recently in that game, and the events in the story have been just so interesting. Like, I feel in a lot of ways that there are a few moments in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that could definitely be taken as some of the lowest points in the Xenoblade series. But man, the moments that really work and definitely shine through as some of this series' greatest achievements. I don't want to go too much into spoilers here, but there is a very specific story-focused moment that just completely blew me away. It was amazing. Like, a lot of things I was not expecting. Because I know that most RPGs have a thing where there is one party member that doesn't stick around forever. They're basically a temporary party member that's mainly around for story progress, and then they go away forever. Because spoilers, things happen to them. I mean, I did stream a Final Fantasy VII earlier this year, and that game has a pretty notorious example of that concept. But Xenoblade 2 does this, and just so interesting because it happens like very early on in the adventure, and I was not expecting it from this character, but it really makes sense in the context of the world and what they were building up for him, and he was just such a fun character too, so getting to see him actually being removed from the story in just such an interesting way just really hit me hard and made me realize, yeah, I really missed out on not getting this game when it first came out, because, oh boy. It was just such a really good plot development. And then a little while later, there's just kind of pervy scene that just made me go, why? Because, yeah, Xenoblade, it's a great series, but you also have to remember that it's being developed by people who have a lot of different values than we do over in the West. So there's going to be some things in their games that just doesn't fly in this market, and yeah. But yeah, I'm just really loving Emil's playthrough of this game, and I'm definitely going to be picking up this adventure once I am finished with Xenoblade 1. Because, yeah, spoilers, I actually have not beaten Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I have the 3DS version of the game, and managed to get as far as the final area of the game, but for whatever reason, I just put the game down and haven't revisited it, so I never actually got to beat the game. But yeah, getting to do that on the Switch version, it's definitely something I want to do before the year is done. I mean, gotta have something good happen this year. I don't want to get too much into this, but just things have been very wild this year. Just socially and politically, and it's just a lot of crazy, messed up things going on in this world. I mean, I'm thankful for what I've been able to achieve this year, just being a lot more focused on my streaming and my art. These last couple of months has been really fun for me. But just part of me just really wants this year to be done and over with so that we can finally move on and get things back to some form of normalcy, even though, yeah, just here's what we had is just kind of gone right now, and we need to try to build something better out of all this chaos. Hopefully things do get better. Speaking of Xenoblade, we got a female counterpart to one of our party members, Rhina here, alongside Hitoshi, which I don't think is a Xeno character. Really? Just a Meditite and a Machop? Come on, people. We had to beat the 6th gym leader at least to be able to access this area. You couldn't have thrown something a little more substantial here. I don't even care that I have a dark type out against a fighting type here just because you're so low leveled. I mean, Machop could still hit pretty hard. It does have a pretty formidable attack stat, but still. Just want to take you out with a needle arm. Very good, Harlequin. Alright, Beetlejuice got a level up. Very nice. And then Machoke. This actually somewhat dangerous. But hey, what's an adventure without a little risk? Eh? Ooh, we got very close to taking out that Machoke, actually. Hey, how dare you do that in my Miracle Seed? Okay, that's actually gonna do a lot of damage. Really? You had a stab boosted revenge, and you still weren't able to defeat. God damn, I know I'm over leveled, but jeez. Good work, Harlequin. Alright, that guy is done. Good riddance. You're kidding! Explain how I lost. Easy. Because it wasn't Rhina time. I'll see myself out. She might not need a heal because we're actually very close to the end here. And also, Harlequin has a draining move, so we can just regain HP from beating a wild Pokemon. Or something. Alright, picked up a Cardos there. That can go on someone. Yeah, Harlequin's a little lacking in speed, so she could definitely benefit from that. Sailor over there we'll need to deal with. Shouldn't be too bad to get. We'll go over to this spot over here. And we're actually at the end of this round already. As you can probably tell by looking at your Pokénav's map, go over this way, and you end up back in Slateport City. And this is why I recommend having a Pokemon with Fly.